Welcome to another comprehensive news spotlight on the 2026 Lagos State Ministerial Briefing on Lagos Update, proudly brought to you by TV Nigeria News on TV Nigeria. This special broadcast will feature the progressive achievements, insightful scorecard performance of strategic ministries by their honorable commissioners, as well as agencies, the special advisors to the governor supervising these agencies. In commemoration of the 7-year administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on this broadcast, the Honorable Commissioner are the Honorable Commissioner of Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Folashade Bada Ambrose Medebem, Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Abayomi Oluyomi, Honorable Commissioner for Justice and the Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro, Honorable Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokumbo Wahab, Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mobalaji Ogunlende, Honorable Commissioner, Tourism, Arts and Culture, Toke Benson Awoyinka, Honorable Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Jamiu Tolani Ali Balogun, and finally, the Honorable Commissioner for Establishments and Training, Afolabi Anyotayo. These are their presentations.
Numbers that frame this briefing. We start with number 1 in the President Enabling Business Environment Council Ease of Doing Business Ranking 2026. That was one of our very, very proud accolades. Then we also had 10 billion, which is the Lasmeco seed for cooperative deployed at the Lasmeco seed for cooperative MSMEs. Another number we're incredibly proud of is the 253 MSMEs we trained under the Lagos State Export Readiness Program in partnership with Afrexim Bank, and where we sent 20, for the first time, 20 trade missions were sponsored to the Intra-Africa Trade Fair for Algiers in 2025. LASCOPA, which is the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, also recovered in excess of over 450 million naira for Lagos State consumers, and 3,000 cooperative societies have been onboarded onto the CMS digital platform. Investment promotion across term 2 has been built around 2 summits and a program of sustained international engagement. I'm proud to say we had a successful Invest in Lagos 2.0, which was delivered on the 9th of July 2025. The platform that scaled action, and it was something we're incredibly proud for. And we've built on that. Invest in Lagos 3.0, which is taking place on the 8th and 9th of June 2026 here in Lagos State, is the apex moment of the term, positioned as the business gateway to Africa alongside the summits. Mr. Governor led the state delegation to the CWEC Trade and Investment Summit at Mansion House in April 2026, and the ministry hosted a sequence of diplomatic and diaspora events as well. The trade and industrial portfolio across our second term have been organized across 3 reform tracks: the Lagos State Industrial Policy 2025-2030, which we're delighted to state here that we launched very recently, and we're very proud. And it's anchored on 6 pillars to position Lagos as the manufacturing hub of Africa, and the renovation of the state industrial estates of Matari 1, Matari 2, and Sabo Ikorodu, and the hosting of the 16th National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment 2, during which Lasmeco was adopted as the national working model.
In this dynamic macroeconomic environment, Lagos State remains Nigeria's economic powerhouse, with a GDP using PPP estimated over $259 billion. Lagos continues to be not only Nigeria's financial hub, but one of Africa's largest subnational economies. The World Bank in April 2026 Nigerian Development Update acknowledged that Nigeria has made meaningful progress in restoring macroeconomic stability following bold reforms through household income that have yet to recover. Also, from SCO, we ensured timely completion of 2025 audited financial statement. At SCO, the management of the debt portfolio of Lagos State was very, very proactive in the sense that Lagos State has never defaulted in its debt obligations. We had continued sustained investment in staff training, in staff welfare, and in capacity building. We maintain industrial harmony and we foster professionalism within the agency. Prompt and timely payment of salaries. Lagos State has never owed staff a single salary. We also make sure that we provide enough pension redemption. We pay pension to our retired staff as at when due. We conducted ongoing verification of security personnel payroll, preventing leakages and ensuring accurate disbursement. Lagos State total revenue in 2025 generated was about 2.6 trillion. This information is already in the public space. It is in our audited financial statement. And of course, where Lagos State has played a prominent role, where Lagos State has done very well, is in the area of internally generated revenue. In 2025 alone, about 1.87 trillion was generated. Revenue collection increased from 678 billion in 2023 to 1.045 billion in 2024, a 54.2% growth. There is also an ongoing refinement of the e-tax platform alongside the rollout of the revenue AI chat box. There is also digital transformation and efficiency. Successful transition from hybrid tax filing to a fully electronic filing system. In 2023, the LRS e-tax platform has been optimized and expanded to include stamp duties, chargeable tax, geotagging, reports build, CAC integration, expatriate tracking through NIS integration. In addition, the e-tax mobile app has been upgraded and migrated to the cloud for more robust, secure, safer access to user data. Now, the next is the debt and fund management monitoring. The state government is committed to infrastructure renewal using a hybrid approach, combining medium to long-term loans and also innovative financing mechanism. Lagos State issued the first sustainable and impact bond which we call green bond that was issued in 2025. And for us to test the market, we issued 14.815 billion. This was oversubscribed by more than 100%. Last year, we also issued conventional bond. This was also oversubscribed by close to 60%. We issued 230 billion bond, naira, 230 billion naira. This also is the largest ever subnational conventional bond ever issued in Nigeria. And this bond was used to finance several infrastructures across health, environment, housing, innovation, science and technology, agriculture, and transportation. Lagos State total debt to GDP is about 4%. Total debt to revenue is about 172%. But what was allowable by the World Bank standard is 250%. So we are much more under that, which shows that the debt position in Lagos State is very, very sustainable. Rating agencies, both global rating agencies and domestic rating agencies, are continuing to rate Lagos State very, very highly in terms of credit rating and even the outlook. Let me also say this. This is, for Lagos State, we have local rating agencies gave us A1+, while global rating agencies reaffirmed our rating as AAA rating. What is the advantage of this AAA rating? AAA rating ensures that Lagos State can source finance easily, anywhere. If we want to borrow anywhere, it has enhanced our capacity to borrow. So when the global rating agencies see Lagos State rating, they don't have any doubt that Lagos State has the capacity, Lagos State has the potential, they have the resources to borrow, and it happens anytime. In fact, let me say, sometimes when federal government and Lagos State goes to borrow, sometimes we get the loan faster than even what federal government gets. I think that deserves a round of applause. Of course, at DMO has also developed what we call debt management strategy and policy framework with the help of PwC. And that is being rounded up. What that does is that at the tip of a finger, you can know everything about the debt of Lagos State. You can know the debt service ratio, you can know the debt sustainability, you can know everything. So it is very comprehensive, it is very robust. It also shows that we're employing a lot of information technology in government. Apart from digitalization, several other things that involve technology is being done in law. All of this will make governance to be very, very efficient, will make governance to be very, very transparent, and to be very, very proactive.
117,375 cases, treated 77 matters, and successfully resolved 49,859 disputes through signed memorandum of understandings between disputing parties, while others were amicably resolved without formal agreement or independently settled by parties following mediation intervention. But for the Citizen Mediation Bureau, all these matters, numbering over 117,000, will have found their ways to our courts or police station or the Economic Financial Crime Commission for resolution, a purely civil matter. In furtherance of its mandate, the Bureau also assisted parties in the recovery of culminating sum of 1.4 billion naira for between parties between 2023 to 2023 of policy, legislation, and reform. Lagos State Ministry of Justice continued to drive strategic legislative and policy reform aimed at strengthening the governance, improving justice administration, enhancing public safety, promoting economic growth, and modernizing institutional framework. Now, what we have in the administration of civil justice is how to overcome delays. A cornerstone of our reform agenda is the need for the efficient and timely civil justice. The ministry recognized that delayed justice is significantly impediment to economic growth and investors' confidence in the state. To address this, the ministry has proposed a bill to make a law for administration of civil justice. The State Executive Council has approved the bill and same forwarded to the State House of Assembly for further legislative process. If the bill is passed to law, I am optimistic that delayed justice will be reduced as it prioritizes measures to expedite civil proceedings in the State High Court. Highlights of the bill include streamlining court processes by taking ex parte and non-contentious application by virtual hearing, permitting documents trial only, eliminating unnecessary file transfer between judges, and setting strict timelines for conducting civil matters with the expectation of concluding cases within 18 to 24 months, as opposed to what we presently have. And this, it also includes to deter frivolous applications and dilatory tactics. The bill introduced punitive costs against erring parties and counsel, as well as expeditious conclusion of case management conference. We also noticed the tenancy problem in Lagos State. The state government acknowledges that many Lagosians are affected by the increasing trend of exploitative rent hikes, non-payment of areas of rent, delay in recovery of possession of premises by landlords in our courts, and these have become source of considerable hardship for citizens across the state. It also discourages investment in real estate, particularly building for tenants. On the presentation by the ministry, the Lagos State Executive Council approved a bill for the amendment of the tenancy law of Lagos State and the same has been forwarded to the Lagos State House of Assembly for legislative process to address the issue. I'm optimistic that if the law is passed as proposed, arbitrary rent hike, owing arrears of rent, delay in tenancy litigation will become a thing of the past.
There is no better way to take a retrospective look at the environment and water resources sector in Lagos State in the last 1 year than to reappraise the singular significant steps taken by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu on Saturday, the 14th day of March 2026, when he announced the return of the statewide observance of the monthly environmental sanitation exercise. The massive participation and enthusiasm of residents to the observance of the April edition throughout the nooks and crannies of the state was very heartwarming. LOMA has also increased landfill operational efficiency and waste truck turnaround time with enhanced waste to wealth initiatives and resource recovery mechanism. 12 new partnerships on environmental sustainability and corporate social responsibility initiatives were signed during this period by LOMA, one of our very vibrant agencies. We also successfully held the 2025 Lagos International Climate Summit, themed Blue Economy, Green Money, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience and Ocean Innovation. The summit was a gathering of global leaders, investors, innovators, and policymakers working towards charting Africa's path in the blue economy and climate financing. One of the landmark moments of the summit was the official launch of the Lagos State Climate Investment Opportunities Diagnostic. The CIOD is a strategic blueprint designed to turn Lagos climate ambition into bankable high-impact projects. The ministry continued to enforce the total ban on the distribution, sales, and usage of styrofoam, with the confiscation of about 5 million worth of banned styrofoam and SUPs, that's single-use plastics, from warehouses and malls. It also removed a total of 137,530.94 kilograms of PET plastic from the environment in 2025. The recycling initiative of the department recorded a positive trend based on data obtained from the collection centers. About 3,920 health facilities were registered statewide with a total of 80,000 to 105,000 kilograms medical waste treated monthly. Through the monitoring and enforcement drive of the agency, 931 persons were apprehended for waste management offenses. 2,251 sites were inspected. 1,711 contravention notices were issued. 239 sites were sealed. The agency evacuated 650 plus tons of construction waste and sustained awareness on construction, demolition, and disaster waste through stakeholders' engagement and collaboration with Waste Care Solution.
We continue to render services, and some of this would include about 5,708 child protection services were recorded during the reporting period, delivering comprehensive support across rescue, investigation, legal placement, and psychosocial domains. We have case disposition. A total of 520 cases were concluded, various disposition pathways, reflecting the unit's commitments to achieving meaningful outcomes for children across Lagos State. Of the total of 500 cases, like I said, were concluded and broken down into segments in the screen behind you: 70 adoption placements, 99 family reunifications, 94 supervisions and monitoring, 57 referrals. Cases were referred to relevant services and partners. We have some updates on selected viral child protection cases that went viral on social media. Following the circulation of a viral social media on the 28th of April 2026, depicting physical abuse, the use of a wire, a knife, and hands of physical abuse of a child by her mother. We saw this and we responded. We rescued 2 children found with the woman in collaboration with the Lagos Neighborhood Safety Agency officials on the 29th of April 2026. They have since been placed in an approved home for care and protection. The mother has subsequently been detained by the police and arraigned before the court, where she was remanded. Our Adoption Services Department. The Adoption Department is responsible for facilitating legal adoption processes and building safe, stable, and loving family environments for children eligible for adoption in line with the Child Rights Law of Lagos State. The department ensures that suitable adoptive parents are properly assessed while safeguarding the best interests of our children. We have 4 key units in the Adoption Services Department. We have the Pre-Adoption Services Unit, we have the Bonding and Assessment Unit, we have the Legalization Unit, and we have the Fostering and Guardianship Unit. Again, highlighted on the screen behind you are the key achievements of this department. We received about 670 applications. A total of 1,870 local adoption applications were received. 70 international adoption applications were also received. We had stakeholders engagements too in the year 2026. We held it with key critical actors, which included the judiciary, the police, and the orphanage operators who are partners in collaboration. We also have the Rehabilitation Department, responsible for the restoration, for the rehabilitation, and the reintegration of vulnerable persons into the society through a multidisciplinary approach involving psychological, vocational, social, and medical interventions. The department's rehabilitation services are managed by professionals, including social workers, psychiatrists, psychologists, pharmacists, nurses, and nutritionists. State-funded rehabilitation institutions. This department oversees 4 state-funded rehabilitation institutions, which would include the Rehabilitation Training Center in Majidun, the Rehabilitation and Vocational Training Center in Isheri. We have the Vocational Rehabilitation Center for Persons with Disability in Owutu, Ikorodu, and we have the Tajuddin Olushi Rehabilitation Center and Vocational Training in Aja. Again, pictorial evidence to show that these centers do exist. These centers are performing services for our rehabilitees. We engaged with the Indian community on strengthening anti-drug collaboration in June. In June, we participated in the First Ladies' War Against Drug Abuse. We participated in MTN Walk Against Drug Abuse at Unilag. Community sensitization program at the Ikorodu Youth Center. Career Day sensitization at Orile Agege Community High School. International Day Against Drug Abuse commemoration and COB member sensitization centers. The media sensitization on MySD spectrum through the traffic radio. Participation in another MTN ASAP program at Falomo, Ikoyi. 20 schools participated during the BH Foundation collaboration program on the 5th of August. Engagement at the Lagos State Youth Empowerment Week. Documentary screening for COB members on drug abuse, traffic regulations and sanitization. Strategic meeting with the police on integrated drug and substance intelligence and response program. Several courtesy visits to the NDLEA area command. School advocacy at the Ikeja Senior High School. 150 participated in the Youth Education Summit organized by Lagos State Interministerial Drug Abuse Control Committee in collaboration with the NDLEA and the LASCADA in November 2025. So whilst we recognize that we are faced with a pandemic, we have several programs to show that as a ministry and as a government, we will continue to see how we can engage our young people to see how we can curb this taking of substance and see how we can reduce and eradicate taking of drugs and substance abuse.
As one of the critical drivers of economic growth and cultural identity, the ministry remains committed to developing and implementing progressive policies and initiatives that position Lagos as Africa's foremost destination for tourism, hospitality, entertainment, arts, culture, and creative enterprise. Through strategic collaborations, innovative programming, and deliberate investments in creative economy, we continue to unlock opportunities that empower talents, stimulate entrepreneurship, preserve our heritage, and attract global attention to Lagos State. In carrying out our mandates, Lagos State Council for Arts and Culture, the Lagos Film and Video Censor Board, the John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History, the Badagry Heritage Museum, Blekete Slave Market Museum, Freedom Park Lagos, and the Glover Memorial Hall Lagos Island are institutions that serve as custodians of our rich history and cultural legacy and vibrant hubs for artistic expression, educational, leisure, and tourism development. Over the past 12 months, the ministry has significantly expanded its reach and impact through strategic local and international partnerships, innovative festivals and cultural initiatives, capacity building programs, tourism-driven engagements that have continued to showcase our richness, our resilience, and our diversity as Lagos. These efforts have further strengthened the hospitality and creative sector while creating sustainable opportunities for young people and industry practitioners. Today, I am proud to present our key achievements, milestones, and transformational initiatives recorded by this ministry within the last 12 months. These accomplishments are a testament to the unwavering commitment of the Sanwo-Olu administration to building a globally competitive creative and tourism economy and firmly establishing Lagos as the hospitality, entertainment, creative and tourism capital of Africa. On the 27th of December 2025, the Lagos State government revived one of the state's most iconic cultural traditions, their Damorisha play, popularly known as the Eyo Festival, as part of the efforts to celebrate distinguished personalities whose lives were devoted to the service and development of Lagos State and Nigeria at large. Held at the prestigious Tafawa Balewa Square, the 73rd Adamorisha play honored 4 eminent Lagosians whose legacies of leadership, service, vision, and patriotism continue to inspire generations. They were the late Iyaloja General, Chief Mrs. Abibatu Mogaji, and 3 past governors of Lagos State, namely Brigadier General Mobolaji Johnson, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, and Sir Michael Otedola. These revered statesmen and women made remarkable contributions that transcended regional and community boundaries, helping to shape the social, political, and economic landscape of Lagos State and Nigeria. Beyond this cultural significance, the festival further reinforced efforts to preserve indigenous traditions, promote tourism, strengthen community identity, and project Lagos as a vibrant center for arts, culture, and heritage on the global stage. The festival also impacted on the state's economy through fashion, through food, through artisans, music, etc. Likewise, on the 6th of April 2026, at the same historic Tafawa Balewa Square, Lagos Island, reaffirming our commitment to preserving and promoting richness of culture and heritage again, the ministry held the Fancy Carnival, a vibrant cultural celebration rooted in the history and traditions of Afro-Brazilian returnees in Lagos, further strengthening Lagos' reputation as Africa's leading destination for arts, culture, entertainment, and tourism. Over the decades, this cultural fusion has become an integral part of the social and cultural fabric of Lagos Island. This year's edition featured an extraordinary showcase of traditional processions, live music performances, samba-inspired dance troupes, displays, theatrical presentations, and heritage exhibitions created by Afro-Brazilian descendants and associations. Beyond the cultural significance, the Lagos Fancy Carnival continued to serve as a strategic platform for boosting tourism, stimulating our local economies, promoting international cultural exchange, and creating opportunities within the hospitality, fashion, entertainment, and creative industries.
The event also reinforced investment prospects in heritage preservation and diaspora tourism. Indeed, the Fanti Carnival is more than a festival. It is a celebration of resilience, identity, creativity, and economic empowerment. With over 40,000 participants and spectators in attendance, the event offered visitors an authentic opportunity to experience the soul of West Africa through the unique lens of Lagos Afro-Brazilian legacy.
Our responsibility is to create opportunities, address challenges, and provide resources that every child has access to quality education, an impact that benefits the child, the state, and of course the nation. To that end, the administration has invested in modern classrooms, digital learning tools, new schools where none existed, and teachers' capacity training, career growth, and development. Notable initiatives include the Eco-Learner Support, free education programs, upgrading of school infrastructures, entrepreneurship training, skill acquisition, and vocational training for students. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education oversees 6 key agencies. One is the Teaching Service Commission, TESCOM. The second is the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. The third, 6th Education District. The fourth is the Office of Quality Assurance, Education Quality Assurance. The fifth is the Lagos State Examinations Board. The seventh is the sixth rather, is the Technical and Vocational Education Board. Let's start with the Eco-Learner Support. The Eco-Learner Support Initiative, launched in January 2025, aims to close learning gaps, improve examination readiness, and give every learner a fair chance to succeed. Results are evident. In the year 2025 WAEC and NECO examination, where in WAEC we recorded 61.52% of registered students who earned 5 credits, including mathematics and English. And for NECO, we recorded 84%. Both placed Lagos State as #1 in Nigeria in 2025. We recorded notable gains in student academic performance across public schools, driven by improved engagement, confidence, and overall results. Programs' consistency, accessibility, and alignment with examination requirements have contributed to these sources. The initiative taking strengthening learner support aim to increase access to education, particularly for underserved communities and out-of-school children, ensuring more children are brought into the school system. We distributed essential textbook on mathematics, fundamental formulas of English, and bedrock of English grammar textbook. We equally distributed textbooks that come from old education in March 2026. We equally distributed smart learning devices to public schools in March 2026. A state-of-the-art teachers digital hub launched in January 2026 to enable live stream of teaching section to every part of the state, ensuring equitable access to education content in our public schools. Festival of Instructional Material also showcased digital animation for interactive teaching and learning outcome in our public schools. The continued free education sustainability, whereby the state is paying for WAEC of all our SS3 is equally key. Last year, the Lagos State government paid over 1.4 billion for the WAEC of our SS3 students. Guide to government policies and improve learners' outcome. 10 years inclusive education plan in Lagos State. Lagos State drafted a 10-year inclusive education plan for 2026 to 2035 with inputs from all stakeholders across the state, from all the 20 local governments and 36 LCDA and NGOs to support, and we also equally have support from UNICEF and NIPAD, Akure, Ondo State. Education Stakeholder Forum, February 2026. The theme, Reimagining Education for the Future, Innovation, Inclusion, and Sustainability. Here and then, we resolve to transform deliberation into actionable improvement programs in which the ministry has already commenced.
A total of 7,116 officers benefited from the 54 implants and in-service training programs sponsored by the ministry. 26 of these capacity building programs were generic training, while the remaining 28 were specialized skills gap training programs. It is worth stating, for the purpose of clarity, that generic trainings encompass capacity building programs that course across cadres. However, specialized trainings are targeted at improving the performance of a particular cadre with bespoke curricula designed for the cadres in focus. The ministry successfully processed 744 sign-off training requests from various ministries, departments, and agencies. This volume of requests demonstrates the growing demand for capacity building across the state. The ministry also organized a 9-month foundation course in human resource management for stagnated chief clerical officers, with over 1,000 officers successfully selected from different MDAs after a rigorous screening and computer-based test, that is CBT. The idea is to boost and elongate the career life of these stagnated officers with a new lease of life, thus optimizing and maximizing their competencies. As part of measures to build internal capacity, 248 officers were sponsored to attend professional conferences. 20 officers participated in 2 international conferences, while 228 officers participated in 2 local conferences. With the realization that knowledge gives an edge, the Ministry of Establishment and Training is big on further studies. In this quest, a total of 4,830 officers were granted approval for further studies. For full-time, with or without pay, 25 officers, while for part-time, For full-time, that is with or without pay, 25 officers were sent on that training, while for part-time basis, we have 4,795 officers that were cleared to proceed. At this juncture, you will recall that at the ministerial briefing of last year, that is year 2025, the Ministry of Establishment and Training stated that some officers granted full-time study leave approval jumped the statutory bond. Consequently, the Ministry of Establishment and Training, in conjunction with the Ministry of Justice and other stakeholders, carried out a review of the bond form for full-time study leave, with or without pay, thereby tightening measures against the incidence of officers jumping bond. While officers are encouraged to pursue capacity building programs and further studies, the state strongly frowns upon the act of jumping bond, it is important to state that the bond agreement is a legally enforceable document in any court of competent jurisdiction. Accordingly, officers who have benefited from full-time study leave approval are expected to repay the service by returning to cascade and apply the knowledge and expertise acquired abroad across their various MDAs. The ministry also supported 92 officers to attend 5 professional conferences, and 20 participants attended 2 different international trainings. About 336 public servants from various ministries, departments, and agencies were granted approval for further studies in the last 1 year, including retrospective approvals to enhance their professional skills, further demonstrating the commitment of the state government to the self-development drive of the average Lagos State public servant. Public Servant Industry Exchange Program, PPIEP. This is one of the innovative projects put together by the ministry. The pilot phase commenced in 2025 with 50 participants selected and placed in private sector organizations for 3 months for industry exposure and experience exchange. The participants gained further perspectives on service delivery, workplace culture, and operational procedures. This newly acquired knowledge and technical know-how has birthed more dividends for the public service currently and in years to come. PSLC program, that is NIPSS Kuru Jos. The ministry secured approval to train 10 officers under the policy, strategy, and leadership course, PSLC, a high-impact executive fully residential program held at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru, Jos.
You just saw the roll call of honorable commissioners presenting their scorecard across various strategic ministries. And still on the 2026 Lagos State Ministerial Briefing, we now bring you a special news spotlight presentation of achievements and progress report of strategic agencies headed by special advisors to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. First on the roll call is the SA Central Business District, CBD, Bola Olumegbon Lawal, SA EGIS and Urban Development, Olajide Abiodun Babatunde, SA Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement, Dr. Abiodun Tajuddin Afolabi, SA Parastatals Monitoring Office, PMO, Mr. Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro, SA Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, Dr. Oreoluwa Fini, and finally, the Head of Service, Olabode Agoro.
The activities of Lagos Central Business District Management Office are aligned with the Themes Plus agenda of this administration and are focused on measurable transformation, consolidating gains in Lagos Business District. The Office of Special Advisor to Mr. Governor and Central Business District has continued to consolidate the gains within Lagos Business District. These are visible in improved traffic and waste management, infrastructural renewal and redevelopment, beautification and reconstruction of road setback, improved sanitation across corridors, and reduction/abatement of street trading activities. Stakeholder Summit. The agency held the 2025 annual summit with the theme Rebranding and Revitalizing the Lagos Central Business District, Strategies for Sustainable Growth and Development. The summit examined, realigned, and strengthened the framework for managing Lagos State's most critical commercial corridors. As Lagos continues to consolidate its position as Africa's leading commercial hub, it brought together relevant stakeholders from MDAs, the legislature and traditional institutions, security and regulatory agencies, private sector actors and professional bodies, market leadership and community representatives. Discussion at the summit centered on reality that effective CBD management requires coordinated governance, clear legal backing, data-driven enforcement, and strong public-private collaboration. Participants further emphasized the need to transition Lagos CBD into dynamic, inclusive, and globally competitive districts capable of supporting a 24-hour economy while safeguarding public interest and strengthening investors' confidence. Following extensive deliberation on the theme, the summit made key recommendations, including enactment of a CBD law, expedite the enactment of a comprehensive CBD law to provide statutory authority for CBD operations. This legal framework should clearly define the mandate, powers, and responsibility of the CBD office and replace the 2008 Gazette framework as the operative legal basis. Establishment of a centralized CBD coordinating authority. Create a dedicated CBD coordinating authority to harmonize the activities of MDAs operating within the CBD, ensuring effective policy execution, operational coordination, and conflict resolution to prevent duplication and institutional silos. Adoption of a right-based enforcement framework. Train and mandate enforcement squad to operate within right-based and rule of law principles, balancing regulatory compliance with the protection of citizens' rights, business continuity, and investor confidence.
The Office of Urban Development, OUD, is saddled with the responsibility of initiating, coordinating, formulating, implementing, and re-evaluating policies and programs relating to sustainable urban development, land use management, urban regeneration, and the integration of spatial data systems for efficient governance across the state. Strategies and innovations adopted for improved performance and achievement. The agency has since improved on service delivery through some initiatives which were adopted during the reporting period, that's the period under review. The achievements recorded include improved level of compliance. This year, only one building collapsed. I think you should give us a round of applause, and we're already half here. Last year was a record. This year will be another record. And this year, we have not had any death from building collapse. We are happy to announce to you that there's a lot of compliance, particularly from institutions like banks who have approached us and are already now doing the certification of their building. As part of our effort to prevent building collapse is to ensure that a building is certified every 5 years. 2023, we removed 349 buildings that were distressed. That is one of the strategies that we used in reducing building collapse. LAPCA is being governed by the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law 2010, LAPCA regulation, and the National Building Code. Lagos State is the first state in Nigeria to domesticate the building code. We have completed this and issued a communique, since 2020, the beginning of 2023. Very soon, a new Lagos State Building Code will be launched. We are also working, under the supervision of the Permanent Secretary on the Lagos Urban Policy. An urban policy will also be launched. That LAPCA has now started a new program under Build Agbaye. This is now like an automated insurance scheme for every property in Lagos. We will be launching this very soon. I just got a letter from the general manager, Build Agbaye Florence, about the launch. And we are saying, members of the public should watch out for this launch. The newly constructed modern sawmill facility comprises of the following facilities and components: 204 band saw sheds, 204 sales offices, 2 blocks of canteen, 4 blocks of toilet facilities, and we are building additional 2. 1 meeting hall, 200 auxiliary sheds, industrial borehole and water treatment plant. The boom area, 10 numbers, 500 kVA functional power transformer, 1.7 kilometer main access road with deck on pile under construction, 160 houses plus additional 100 units, making a total of 260 delivered to the sawmillers, and additional 40 now under construction. 12.8 hectares boom area, 2 numbers expansive log preparation area. Sawmill operation and other ancillary activities are now at the highest level of operation at Timberville. We want everyone to know that we have centralized sawmill operation in Lagos. Never again, in Okobaba, within the city, where you see fires every now and then, we have organized the sawmillers. We are working with them to ensure that, Lagos becomes a major hub for timber production, not only in Nigeria, but West Africa and Africa at large. As part of government efforts to improve the operational efficiency, protect the modern facility, and also increase the economic lots of the sawmillers, the following contracts were also awarded in the first quarter of 2026, and those projects are ongoing as at now. We're also building a fence around the boom and operational area, so that we can protect the equipment that has been provided by the government. We're also building additional 40 houses this year. There are something, which is another project that is being handled by Mr. Shegun Williams, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Urban Development, for the remaining of the people that have shown up that, we still need to accommodate at Timberville. We're already working with some companies where the sawdust that is coming out of Timberville will soon be made into particle boards. PS, am I correct? Will soon be made into particle boards, and from there, we are going to be exporting timber and a number of things that will be processed goods from Timberville. We hope that Timberville very soon will also become, a free trade zone, another free trade zone that is created by the Office of Urban Development, in Lagos State. Let me announce to you that Lagos State is the first state in Nigeria where you do not need to come to our office to come and submit your building plans for approval. You can do it on the EPPS platform, which means that with minimum human interaction, you can get your building plan approval. Those areas where people want to collect bribe and corruption is the order of the day, is now gone.
Stakeholder by group. This is what we are known to do best. Engaging different stakeholders. And we do this intermittently, sporadically too. We organize town hall meetings with different various stakeholders where we engage them in solving their problems, because they are the ones that are very close to the grassroots. Executive Legislative Parley. This is one program that has been so fundamentally enjoyed by all. Most especially the legislative arms, the House of Assembly members from Lagos State, the National Assembly that includes both members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, the most distinguished senators from our state. We always engage them with the executive arms of the government, led by Mr. Abaji Sanwo-Olu and the Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Kadri Amzat, and all other party organs in Lagos State. This parley is done under a closed-door meeting where we judge, where we reflect on the past activities of government. What do we need to do? How do we do it? How do we go about it? And on many occasions, we came out with good communique after the event. And the communiques that we have reached on each of these pali had made a very significant in changing the milestone of Lagos State government. Artisans, unions, associations, transport and market parks are engaged and sensitized on civic responsibility. On many occasions, we have visited the parks. We have visited the marketplaces. We have visited these artisans. We engage them at their meetings. They come to us if we invite them to, and we have done very well with them, and they are part of the government. And that is why, of recent, you never see people writing bad about the government. It is because we have connected them with us, and they know most of the programs that government is doing. We collaborate also with private sector on developmental issues, ensures interests are provided for. We don't say because they are not part of government. They are sensitive sectors too. That is the private sectors. We make sure that we go to them, we engage them, and we have been, most of them too, at times, they sponsor some of our programs just to show commitment that they are with the government. Faith-based organization. We have reached to all of them to promote a responsible and responsive citizen, and they have been doing very well. Our collaboration with MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies of government to ensure effective service delivery. We've been doing that, and swift response to citizen demands and complaints through Citizen Gate platform. I'm happy to tell you that today we have engaged nearly, if not all the MDAs in our Citizen Gate platform. They are our voice outside. They help us in solving problems of the residents through the resolvers. And we have onboarded as many resolvers as possible. Let me just quickly tell you why this is working. We want to make sure that not everybody that has problem will come to Alausa through our Citizen Gate platform. All you need to do is just log into this app, put your problem there, and each of the problems will be taken up by the ministry that is concerned with such a problem, and immediately they will swift into action and make sure the problems are resolved. So Lagosians don't need to come to Alausa, to come to Ministry of Works, to come to Information, they can easily log in their problems on this platform, and I tell you, they will all be attended to. Our approach is nurturing civic consciousness and democratic participation. Summary drive. You will see that the facilitation and institutionalization of a people-centered, responsive, and participating government.
Parastatal Monitoring Office is a strategic oversight institution of Lagos State government. And here we remain committed to implementing our statutory mandate for ensuring that all parastatals, agencies, and government-owned companies operate in line with established administrative, financial, and governance guidelines. Over the past 7 years, you quite agree with me that the purposeful leadership of Mr. Governor has continued to witness remarkable reforms across critical sectors of governance, driven especially by the administration's Teams Plus agenda. And the main focus of this agenda is to build resilient institutions, strengthen public sector efficiency, and ensuring that governance remains human-centric, result-oriented, and sustainable. And this is where Parastatal Monitoring Office comes in. In pursuance of this core function, Parastatal Monitoring Office conducted inspection exercises across 70 parastatals agencies and government-owned companies. And this commenced from 18th of November to the 31st of December 2025. Presently, year 2026 inspection exercise is ongoing, which is going to cover about 75 parastatals, agencies, and government-owned companies. The objectives of this inspection exercise are to ascertain the following: income and revenue targets performance according to approved budgets. We monitor and evaluate performance of parastatals according to their enabling law. We also look at their expenditure budgets and performance according to approved budgets. We also look at where some are on subventions and determine whether this subvention is actually good money spent. We look at whether there's any fixed deposit, grants, or donation where necessary. We also equally look at how they are running their contributory pension scheme to pave way for a broader compliance exercise. We routinely inspect their books of operations of account and other relevant books, ascertain whether there is a board. Many of the parastatals are supposed to have boards. We want to know how current the boards are, the members, their tenure, and their terms. We also join or collectively help many of them set key performance indicators to drive better service delivery. We ensure compliance with government financial guidelines and ensure that fixed asset registrars are up to date. Lagos State as a whole has a very robust monitoring mechanism. Some of our functions to ensure accountability. We also know that the Office of the State Auditor General comes in. Project Implementation Unit of the Governor's Office also comes in. So we all collaborate to make sure that the Lagos State parastatals as a whole ensure good value for money when implementing the budget. Another key program that we were able to undertake is to organize a stakeholders synergy meeting. Governance is a continuum, and there is an agreement between the legislature and the executive arm. As part of its efforts to address some issues that were observed by the Legislative House Committee on Appropriation, and also to enhance collaboration among parastatals and other relevant stakeholders in project development and execution, Parastatal Monitoring Office on the 11th of November convened a maiden one-day stakeholder synergy meeting. The meeting themed promoting projects in the state's parastatals agencies and government-owned companies, strategic mechanisms, was held to enhance collaboration amongst ministries, departments, and agencies, and also parastatals, with the sole objective of addressing operational and implementation challenges affecting government projects. Our whole objective is that we don't want white elephant projects in government. That is a wasteful expenditure. More so in area whereby resources are always getting scarce, we must utilize government funds appropriately. We try to improve, also look at how transparency and accountability and value for money is being achieved in project execution. We also have the objective of establishing a framework for effective project monitoring and coordination. And we want to encourage knowledge sharing and innovative approaches towards sustaining development across all parastatals. And lastly, to curb excessive variation in project implementation and delivery timelines. And this was quite an exposition. It was quite informative. And we were made to realize that a lot of things need to be improved upon. The stakeholders at that particular meeting were able to reaffirm that there's a need for interagency collaboration in achieving efficient project implementation. The meeting highlighted the need for stronger checks and balances in project monitoring and payment processes. PMO's role is in safeguarding government investment.
This office clocked 10 years this year, and in celebrating the 10 years, we had quite a number of events. I want to lead with the Lagos State Flood Risk Insurance Project. And this project started in 2023 and finally came to birth this year. And we are the Office of Sustainable Development Goals is the coordinating office. for the flood risk insurance. We're working together with the Ministry of Finance, and we have officially launched the first flood risk insurance product in Africa. This policy covers up to 4 million vulnerable residents across 7 pilot local government areas: Alimosho, Ajeromi Felodun, Amuwo Odofin, Apapa, Koshofe, Shomolu, and Ojo. We are starting with 7 local governments to test, to fine-tune, and to ensure that the program can then receive a rapid rollout to the remaining 13 local governments and the LCDs that are associated with them. It provides a potential coverage of up to $7.5 million in the event of a flood. This project is a result of a tripartite partnership involving the Lagos State government through the German government through the Insure Resilience Solutions Funds, KFW Development Bank, the United Nations Development Program, and the Insurance Development Forum. At the Office of SDGs, we believe very strongly in SDG 17, which is partnership for the goals. We do not do anything alone. The strategic alignment of the initiative with the state's broader disaster risk financing framework and the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly 1, 11, and 13, cannot be overemphasized. This scheme represents a paradigm shift towards data-driven, anticipatory governance designed to deliver immediate funds for emergency response and social protection. The office facilitated a strategic forum between the state's public health practitioners and the management of Loughborough University to drive impact in advancing quality health delivery that meets global best practices. The engagement was organized to strengthen collaboration between Lagos State health institutions and the management of Loughborough University to facilitate knowledge exchange, bolster collaborative efforts. Various senior lecturers and senior management of both universities were in attendance of the event. Another key event that happened last year, 2025, is Lagos State's secondary voluntary local review. And what that means is the gathering the data for the SDGs to show where exactly the state is. It's a status report of the SDGs in Lagos. And in validating that, we convened a high-level multi-stakeholder engagement to review the SDGs. The validation session brought together a broad coalition of stakeholders, members of diplomatic corps, senior government officials, international development agencies, MDAs, civil society organizations, private sector actors, and development partners. The outcome of this VLR will shape forward-looking policy priorities and development planning frameworks further, deepening policy reforms and strategic interventions aimed at accelerating inclusive growth across critical sectors. We're looking at critically reducing inequalities, we're trying to close development gaps, and we're trying to advance shared prosperity through targeted, scalable, and impact-driven programs across the states. We conducted a comprehensive qualitative assessment exercise as part of this VLR, meaning we went to community to gather data, going from house to house, community to community, and asking questions and receiving answers. This participatory process allows the office to gather first-hand knowledge from community members on what is working, what challenges persist, and what government needs to improve upon, and what innovative solutions are emerging. We were on the field live. The exercise spanned all 5 divisions of the state, cutting across various local government areas and LCDAs, where the team engaged community leaders, traditional rulers, market men and women, youth, farmers, persons living with disabilities, ensuring that no one is left behind. At the end of the day, the 17 SDGs were distilled into 12 based on the baseline assessment. as recognized as the ones that require urgent attention. But then we prioritize 9, knowing that those 9, when we action them, it will affect all the other SDGs. And the 9 include no poverty, zero hunger, health and well-being, quality education, clean water and sanitation, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, and climate action. As I mentioned earlier, 2025 marked 10 years since the establishment of the Office of Sustainable Development Goals. The 10th anniversary doubled as part of the global observance of SDG Week, and it brought together an impressive gathering of top government officials, development partners, NGO, civil society organizations, and private sector SDG ambassadors. It also included volunteers and key government stakeholders, all united in their shared commitment to a more sustainable Lagos.
The administration of Babajide Olusegun Governor has appointed so far 121 permanent secretaries. A total of 84 service-wide circulars on policy guidelines and other state activities were issued during this period. Issuance of letters of permission to travel. During the period under review, 181 letters of annual leave and approval to travel abroad were issued to permanent secretaries. Also, 185 approvals were given to heads of agencies, parastatals, to travel abroad for personal and official reasons. Similarly, a total of 967 travel approvals were given to officers in other categories for both personal and official trips to various countries worldwide. 10 letters were issued to officers in various cadres to stand as sureties in line with extant circular, while 152 letters of introductions were issued to various embassies on behalf of officers seeking to travel abroad. Retreats. The office organized a retreat for directors, admin and human resources at the Administrative Staff College, ASCON, Badagry, in August 2025. A total of 120 directors attended the retreat with the theme, Retooling for Excellence, the strategic role of administrative and human resources management as a catalyst for public service. Lagos State participation in ASCON was the highest in Nigeria, so we deserve another round of applause. In a similar vein, the body of permanent secretaries, led by the head of service, attended a strategic leadership management course at the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Obasikiru Adetono School of Governance Studies, NIPS, in Agogo, Ogun State, from Monday the 25th to Saturday the 30th of August 2025. So you see, permanent secretaries also go for training. It doesn't stop when you become a permanent secretary. Lagos State government continues to train you always. During the period under review, Mr. Governor, in his magnanimity, gave approval to procure and allocate official vehicles to chairman and members of the Lagos State Universal Basic Education, LASUBED, the newly appointed permanent secretary, Attorney General, and 120 substantive directors of grade level 17. With very, very lovely and beautiful cars. Intervention policies implemented during the period. Some of the laudable intervention policies implemented during the period under review include, but are not limited to, the following. Implementation of the payment of 50,000 naira palliative to Lagos State public servants for the month of May 2026. Payment of 32,000 naira monthly pension increment to the Lagos State pensioners under the defined benefit scheme. On Tuesday, the 21st of August 2026, the Office of the Head of Service flagged up the annual health screening exercise tagged Public Servants Know Your Numbers at the Folani Coca Staff Clinic with a strong call on workers to prioritize their well-being, embrace routine checks, and boost good health and longevity and productivity. The Long Service Merit Award. The 16th edition of the Long Service Merit Award was held during the period under review A total of 750 public servants who had spent not less than 30 years in service were honored for their dedicated service. The list comprised of 6 permanent secretaries and 744 officers of various cadres within the service. The Long Service Merit Award is a unique opportunity to place on record the state government's profound appreciation for the various contributions of public servants to the growth and development of Lagos State. The annual Public Service Week celebration. The annual Public Service Week celebration, an event where the Lagos State government, through the Office of the Head of Service, acknowledges the dedication, commitment, and efficiency of public servants, and as such, appreciates and celebrates them in line with the global practices, was held during this period. A total of 177 nominees in the junior and senior categories adjudged to be outstanding were appreciated with plaques and cash gifts. Amongst the outstanding officers, 5 senior officers were presented with brand new cars, wow, while 5 junior officers won cash prizes of 5 million naira each through the transparent award system. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Also at the event, our amiable Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola announced additional cash kits for the remaining outstanding officers, making every awardee a winner. A sum of 1 million naira each was gifted to the officers in the senior category, while 500,000 naira each was gifted to those in the junior category. Altogether, a total sum of 130,500,000 naira was gifted to the remaining outstanding officers by Mr. Governor in appreciation of their dedication, hard work, commitment, and various contributions to the achievement in their various MDAs. Pens down ceremony for retired permanent secretaries. On Thursday, the 4th of December 2025, 17 permanent secretaries who retired in the course of the year were celebrated for their meritorious service to Lagos State following their statutory retirement. Work for fitness exercise. The monthly work for fitness exercise of public servants has become bigger and more impactful. It was created to promote work-life balance, boost physical activity, and enhance quality of life. Presently, the work for fitness holds every first Saturday of the month due to the reintroduction of the monthly environmental sanitation exercise, which now holds every last Saturday of the month. Placement of industrial IT students. During the year under review, a total of 3,216 requests for placements of various MBAs were processed and placement letters issued to interns. While the head of service, through the Public Service Standard and Performance Department, also approved 237 requests for the conduct of various research projects across the public service. Appeals and petitions. The Office of the Head of Service received 140 appeals and petitions from MDAs, individuals and corporate organizations during the period under review, and decisions of the office was conveyed to the appellants following due process. In addition, 14 high-level consultative meetings were attended to address various labor and industrial issues, resulting to evidence-based recommendation that fostered workplace harmony. Upgrading and digitization of the Public Service Library. The Public Service Library has been upgraded and is expected to address the following: facilitation of quick retrieval of information and data, round-the-clock availability of reference materials for users, and safe storage of valuable reference materials. During the year under review, 301 users visited the Public Service Library. The centralized staff bus scheme. The centralized staff bus scheme unit is responsible for the maintenance and repair and service and fueling of the entire fleet of buses, as well as designation of routes for the 43 buses spread across 5 divisions of the state to each transportation of staff to their various to and fro their homes and office.
And that's all on the current ongoing ministerial briefing. Watch out for further updates in our subsequent broadcast on TV Nigeria News, talking about Lagos Update. Thanks for watching.
Go Lagos!